Is anybody out there? I need to know that it's not just me. I ain't going nowhere if I can find just someone. Is anybody out there? I need to know that it's not just me. I ain't going nowhere if I can find just someone.
This is the first official episode to this podcast. I had done like a pilot episode, but I really didn't like it all that much, so I decided to do an actual official episode. The original idea that I had for the episode was with Greenie, but working out schedules and time frames is kind of a hassle, so I ended up deciding on this. So if you couldn't already tell by the title of this podcast, it's my first tattoo experience. So while the initial story might not be all that interesting, getting a tattoo done all that interesting, but it's the stuff after that I really wanted to talk about. So to start off with, I just want to preface this and say that going into this, I knew a lot more than an average person would know. I mean, my dad's been tattooed. I was there when my dad got a couple of his tattoos. My sister, when she got one of her tattoos done. And so going into this, I had a general idea of what to expect. Maybe not like pain wise or anything, but knowing that it was going to take a while, and that I had to be still so I don't fuck up any lines and the person tattooing doesn't mess up. But I had a general idea of what to expect. So leading into the story, I had a mutual friend between me and Caleb that went to our school that was a tattoo artist. I had followed her page for like a while and seen the tattoos that she had done under her apprenticeship, and she had some like clean work, and it was coming to the end of her apprenticeship, and she was offering free tattoos under certain conditions while under her apprenticeship. So I hit up Caleb and I was like, yo, I didn't know she was a tattoo artist, but if you want to get like some tattoos together, let's do it. He was like, yeah, sure, I'll hit her up and we can do this. So both of us, we messaged her, working out details of what we wanted. He ended up going for like a Destiny tattoo, and I went with one of my favorite bands at the time. And I worked out the details where I was like, told her at the time I was stretched on cash, so with bills and stuff, I couldn't afford to to go the extra mile to pay like hefty for a tattoo. And we worked it out to where it was a free tattoo on her last month of her apprenticeship, and all that was left was just actually making it to the appointment. I took off work to make sure I could go with Caleb and make the appointment. When I told my dad that I had an opportunity to go get a free tattoo, he was a little sketched out at first. He was like, as long as you've done your research, this permanent is going to be on your body forever, until you get it like covered up or laser removed. This is a permanent decision. And I was like, I'm aware. I've been following her for like a few months. I've seen some of her work, man. I mean, she's not a bad tattoo artist, and I trust her completely with putting a needle to my body, because her work was pretty fucking solid for apprenticeship. And even now, she's even got her own studio, which I'll put all the links to her stuff in the bio of this episode. So shout out to Cortnie for making my first tattoo experience fucking solid. Anyway, getting into the story. The day of, I was waiting around, got dressed, ate lunch, waited for Caleb because Caleb's brother was going to drive us to the shop. We ended up passing it the first time when we went over there, so we had to turn around and we made it back. And we did all the paperwork, showed our IDs, everything, and then it came to getting the stencils. We waited around for a few minutes. Me and Caleb, we had caught up since the last time we seen each other in high school. We'd been playing games with each other in between, but this was the first or second time that we had seen each other outside of school, in like a couple of years. Well, yeah, a year, because it was the end of 2018. But we had caught up on the car ride there. Then when we actually got to the shop, we had caught up with her for a little while. Then when it came to actually putting the stencils on and everything, sized them. Mine was going to take the longest because it was most of my forearm. Caleb's was like the top portion of his forearm, so his wasn't going to take like a whole lot, but his was pretty intricate, as well as mine. So it took like a while to do both of our tattoos. We got there like, I want to say 12, and eventually I got home sometime around like maybe 8 or 9. I'm not sure like exact time frame, but we got the stencil work done, and it came time to actually getting the tattoo done. The tattoo, it turned out fucking phenomenal in my opinion. The whole experience was absolutely amazing. It was kind of how I expected it, like pain wise. She told us, going into it. Caleb had already got his first tattoo by this point. For me, she was like, it's gonna feel like a cat scratch. In some areas, it's gonna hurt worse depending on where it is, closer to the wrist and like top of the arm near the elbow, crease. It's gonna hurt like quite a bit, and it actually it did. And it hurt like pretty fucking good compared to the rest of the spots on my arm. But I sat through it. I only adjusted whenever she had to like go back for ink to dip the needle in, but other than that, I sat through the entire tattoo. I winced here and there, but I made sure to not move at all, so that way neither of us fucked up the tattoo. Mostly me, because I didn't want to move and jolt from the pain, fuck up any of the lines. But I sat through all of the line work before we took the break. And at the time I didn't bring no money with me, so thank God Caleb, being the homie. There was a restaurant next door. We stopped in there, and this is where I made the mistake, because I was being considerate in the fact that there was nothing really there I wanted to eat, and I didn't want to order a bunch of shit, considering that Caleb was covering it, just because I didn't even think to bring any cash with me. But like I said, Caleb's a true homie. Bought like a thing of fries, and we just chilled at the shop and ate those till she had ate, so she could get back to it, and we can get back to it, because Caleb still had to get his done. So this is where the first mistake that I made was that I didn't eat like hardly enough, because of how much trauma my body's going under getting this tattoo done. But after I ate the fries and went back to it, went in to get the coloring, got the leaves done first, and then we had to get right into doing the trunk of the palm tree. And eventually we made it through. Cleaned it, everything, wrapped it up. Then it was on to Caleb. Caleb got his done. I wouldn't say like relatively quick, but because of how small, not really small, I would say medium, maybe medium-sized tattoo, it didn't take nearly as long as mine did. So it was like as soon as I was done, she did everything to prep to do his tattoo, and just went by pretty quick. Caleb's brother popped in here and there, left and came back a couple of times, since it was taking a while to do both of ours, as tattoos should. But while I will say this, luckily, while we were doing all that, my mom was coming home from work, like around the afternoon, and I had got her to get all the cleaning supplies I need to clean my tattoo when I got home, so that way I wouldn't have to go stop in at Walmart or anything to get what I needed to clean my tattoo for the next few days. So that was the clutch thing that I did, and I was very lucky in this aspect. So on the way home, they dropped me off first because they had to go to Walmart for Caleb to get his stuff to clean his tattoo. And since my mom had already got it, all I had to do was just go home, and then as soon as it got there, clean my tattoo and let it air out. And since my dad was home, he would be able to help me do all that. So they dropped me off. I go upstairs. First thing I do, I greet everybody. Dad's like, "All right, we need to go ahead and start and clean your tattoo and get it unwrapped so it can air out and heal." I was like, "All right, cool, I can do that." Threw off my shirt so that way I wouldn't get any water or anything while we were unwrapping it and everything. And this is the part that I've never told anybody. So, like I said, luckily I had already got my mom to pick up what I needed to clean it. Alright, so my dad went to the bathroom to go unwrap it, to clean it and everything. And as soon as the water hit my tattoo, my vision started to go in and out. If you ever had like iron deficiency or like low iron or anything, like the staticky vision. And that's what I had at first. It's like my vision went in staticky, and then it came back while he was helping me clean it. I guess he had noticed that I was like kind of acting weird because I was leaning up against the wall, like trying to calm myself, trying to figure out what the fuck that was all about. He was like, "You good?" And I was like, "Yeah." And then he went back to cleaning it, and like after the first minute, it was like my vision went back to the staticky effect, and I couldn't see anything for like a solid maybe like minute or two. And the whole time that he was helping me clean it, I was like panicking on the inside, because I was like, "Whoa, what the fuck is going on?" It's like, this is fucking weird. Not being able to see anything and only seeing static was really trippy. And I think at that time he was like, are you seriously okay?" And I was like, I don't know. I really don't know. And he was like, "All right, come on, sit down." Sat down in the living room. It's like I had like some orange juice to help me out. Eventually my vision came back, but it was really scary sitting there, kind of like not being really able to see. I had some orange juice to help, and I ate something, like ate a quick snack, and ate dinner right after. But the whole reason that happened was just because on that break, I only ate just the fries, so I didn't have like a big meal to help sustain me after all the trauma that my body had to go under getting this tattoo, because it's a fucking needle going in and out of your skin, like rapidly putting in this ink So your body's getting scarred up at the same time of all this. So my body was like under so much stress and trauma that, you know, I didn't sustain it by eating anything when we like took a break. And the only thing I ate before that was a big lunch. So I will say that that's why I'm very lucky in the aspect that I went ahead and got all my, you know, cleaning supplies beforehand. Because if this had happened, you know, at Walmart when I was with Caleb and his brother, I don't know how that would have went. So luckily I was already home and had my dad there to basically help guide me and do everything. But after that, I was like completely fine. You know, I'd sat with my dad in the living room, watched TV. You know, we were just chilling for the last few minutes, making sure I was good. I stayed up for like a little bit, not too long, because I had to actually go to work that next morning, which was entirely fun, because, you know, couldn't let anything happen to my tattoo the entire time. Had to clean it for 2 weeks until it was eventually healed. That whole experience after I got home, I didn't tell anybody. My dad told my mom to, you know, not mention it to like my sister or anything, because he thought it might be embarrassing. But I don't really think now that it's as embarrassing. It's more of like a teaching moment for anybody who's, you know, planning on getting a tattoo, or, you know, thought about it but they just weren't sure. I will say, you know, getting tattooed, it's a, you know, one of a kind experience, but you definitely got to take the steps to make sure that you're going to be okay. You know, have to eat. You gotta, especially like on a break, when like when they take breaks, you definitely need to, you know, maintain your food, you know, because your body is going through so much trauma depending on how big it is. And I went pretty big for my first tattoo. It was like a complete forearm. So all that stress and trauma that I was going under really caught up to me by the end of the night. And that was like a fucking trippy, you know, I would say a little scary. You know, losing your vision and not being able to see shit in front of you is fucking crazy. But, you know, after like a couple of years, I'm not really embarrassed by the story. Like I said, I would rather this be like a learning experience. So take what you want from my experience and my mistakes and learn from them. So if you plan on getting tattoos, make sure you fucking eat. Make sure you eat, because you are going through a whole lot of trauma. But like I said, it was nobody's fault except my own, because, you know, I should have known going into this, I should have known that, yeah, I gotta make sure I eat, not knowing that I was gonna fucking lose my vision for like a minute or two. So yeah, like I said, it was nobody's fault but my own, you know. But like I said, I'm glad that I was at home when all this happened, because if it had happened in public, I don't know how that would have went. So, but that was my experience. If you've listened to this all the way through, I appreciate you. Thank you for tuning into this first episode. Maybe on the next episode we'll work out a schedule with Greenie and we'll do McGavick stories, because we got a whole bunch of stories as far as McGavick goes. It was, crazy substitutes, you know, the typical mischief that we would do. Did a first day experience, you know, meeting each other for the first time, because me and Caleb, we didn't meet till the end of freshman and start of sophomore, and I didn't meet Greenie till senior year. So there's a whole bunch to unpack there, and hopefully I'll have Greenie on for the next episode. But anyways, thank you for tuning in, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.
Is anybody out there? I need to know that it's not just me. I ain't going nowhere if I can find just someone.
bitch.